Macca's burgers ever.
I'd kill someone for a burger right now. Kill. Actually kill. Actually kill. I know that's not what we're supposed to say in this modern PC world.
They look so
we live in.
good.
They look so good. It's time to reveal our, well, kind of our comic book covers. Bryce, welcome to the couch.
Thank you.
Well done on casting the games.
Well done on your segments. They've been great so far.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Now, Jake is up at the desk, and he, of course, will chime in with his usual charm and wit.
Useless. Yeah.
This is already off to such a good start. But he did design a comic book cover, and Bryce, he's requested that you be the one to walk us through it.
Okay.
As always, though, I've gone the next step. I just didn't design a comic book cover. I designed a comic book. It was a 4-panel comic book.
Oh, okay.
And Bryce, I would like you
I'm
to
the
take
narrator.
me
I get to
through.
tell the story.
And the condition is, like, don't stuff up my art. Like, do this seriously for
Don't
once in your
stuff
life.
up your art.
Like, I put a lot of time and effort into this, so at least give me the respect
It was
I
a big
deserve
10 minutes.
to, like, do this seriously.
Okay. All right. Where's my... All right. So, the life of Bryce. Okay, an OPL tale. I need to hold it into the camera. Sorry,
Please.
guys. The life of Bryce, an OPL tale. I play games without spawn. Here's me with my Logitech G keyboard and mouse and my monitor.
Really?
I sleep on a
Attention to
couch.
detail.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like tucked in on the couch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate because I bring a sleeping bag. I sleep in a sleeping bag on a couch, like a camping sleeping bag. I sleep on a couch. I steal Jake's. Can you write?
Charger. It says charger.
Charger. Ah, okay. And this is Jake's charger that I've stolen, and it's plugged into my phone. And of course, this is Jake's little phone over here. He has a Pixel 2. I have a Pixel 3, so clearly there's some superiority. And there's me just nicking off with the side. And I headbutt 80
I really
carries
feel like
into
I'm in a
bushes.
primary school classroom and the
Totally.
teacher's reading me the Hungry
And I
Caterpillar.
headbutt 80 carries into bushes. Which is just the fabled Alistar play of what I flash. I think it was Lloyd. It was at Wildcards 2015.
Oh,
Yeah,
not that
correct.
tournament.
And this is the story of Spooks tells it. My lung popped literally mid combo. It was a flash. It was a pulverize the ground, and I headbutted a Siva to safety, and we lost the game. And there you go. This is a tale of my life. There you go.
I think you've narrated that very well.
I think you did a very good job. The chat, NZ Smite, he sleeps on a couch. Fayray 101, Bryce worries me.
He worries all
OPL
of us.
time, he's a troubled boy. I feel like this, the whole like insight into Bryce's life has thoroughly ramped up today. And
I also feel like my comic book this time around has gotten much better than my comic book.
Garen at a urinal.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I mean, no,
there was a urinal. Wasn't I? Was I at the urinal?
No, it was Garen, and he leaned his
Yeah.
sword
He
against a
leant the
wall.
That's
And I think,
right.
given if you like update it to like 2019 split 2, now we know to leave both your live stream backpack and your sword next to the door before you walk in.
Excellent. All right, Jake / Bryce. I'm very impressed. I would buy that comic.
Yeah.
Or would I? Or would I get really bummed out by
Look,
the end of it?
I think storytelling, great job. The art,
I'd say brilliant.
yeah, that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. That's
Well,
just
I'm a bit worried that he's sort of given away the whole plot on the front cover of the comic.
No, this is just the 4 panels of the comic.
where
right?
else does your life go?
No, the only thing he needs is a cover.
He
But
storyboarded.
this is
Right,
this
okay.
is the
Storyboard.
this is the OPL tale of Bryce. Trust me, the Canberra story of Bryce is much nicer.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
I'll do that next week.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get an update.
All right, Rusty.
You know, it isn't nice as mine.
All right.
But, so, I went through, I'll show you in a second, I went through just general musings. It had to be OPL themed. I couldn't think of anything, so I drew everything I could think of.
Oh, that's a hedge.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Just
Anyway,
calling it out.
it's called the OPL Caster Couch, and I'll go through it one at a time. This is Nick Boy on his little baby couch. It's over there.
Baby cat.
And this is myself and Spawn, because I thought it would be Spawn here. He's got big muscles, it's how you know, but only biceps.
Wait, but who has the big muscles?
Spawn.
Spawn does. Right, okay.
But only biceps.
Okay, right. Is there some sort of gym slam that I don't understand?
Well, he
Yeah,
only
correct.
does biceps.
So I don't do legs because up until they introduced that couch, which I still vehemently disagree with,
Yeah.
all I had to do was upper body.
You're hidden behind a desk. If you
hidden
cast
behind
League of
it.
Legends, you
right.
just sit
See my
down.
leg.
You're like a puppet.
Nobody can see.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. You
Yeah.
got
So
those little felt
just got
dandelies.
arms.
Someone, a puppeteer just grabbed up from behind and
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah. Now all I can think about is your legs. Yep.
Yep, so there's that. And then I went down to Bryce on a couch. I spoke to Carvin. Because I spoke to Carvin and I was like, what does your couch look like? He said it has 4 seats. So I drew 3 and ran out of room because I can't draw. So there's
Hold
3.
on.
You're
What?
green.
What is that?
I'm getting there. All right?
yeah,
Let
what
me
is
let me
that?
get there. Your head's on a pillow.
Yeah.
Right? Your arm is under the pillow.
My red pillow. I have a red pillow.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
is a socket on the wall with a question mark, wondering what the hell you're doing. And you're dummy thick.
I'm
right?
dummy.
You're
thick.
dummy thick.
What's
got a big
dummy?
booty.
Is this another
It's got a
gym thing I
big
don't
butt.
understand?
I'm going this way.
You got a big butt.
Bryce is dummy thick.
You're like a puppet.
He
Right.
got a big booty, so I call him Big Booty.
This
Yeah.
is Pyra. Just chilling over here. It's Pyra.
Nipples and all.
And then I did not know what a dog looks like in my head. And I was like,
All you talk about is dogs.
and I was like, I'm gonna
you
try and
have
draw.
like 6.
The only pictures I ever see coming out of your phone are you at the gym and dogs.
They're with a camera. I don't draw my dogs.
All right.
Okay, so I tried to draw Bailey. I ended up drawing Dobby.
You definitely drew Dobby.
If Dobby was a sausage dog.
elf. Master has given Bailey a sock.
Now I know I can draw Dobby. So,
There you go.
so
All right.
that's my takeaway.
I like how you've you've missed one thing though. I will say because you've tied. We've all got couches except for Bailey. Bailey does have a couch. It's an
That's
igloo.
true.
He sits here. He's got his little weird igloo thing that seems to be like more expensive than anything else
I'll
on
have
this
to
set.
iterate.
Custom built. Don't remember that.
Next
for,
week will
for
be just
the rest of
Bailey's
us.
bed.
All right. Finally, me.
Oh, yeah, you go on.
I drew one.
You did. You will be doing one.
I did not include Bryce on mine. Controversial choice.
Expensive.
This is the OPL. So there's a spelling mistake. Sorry.
The
You know-
OPL play-by-play is.
The OPL play-by-play is, you know, the Time magazines or the thing where it's like the Time magazine person of the year is, and then it's just a mirror,
Yeah.
and it's you. That's what this is. So
Ah.
we've had in the last 3 weeks of OPL, we've had Pyra, we've had Skimmy, and we've got Benji. So the OPL play-by-play is you next week. This is Pyra down here. He's very sad. He's crying because he's had to go back to Germany to do his clubbing, which is what this is his club and sparkly outfit. That a
He's
cowboy
from the
to
deep
come-
south.
Yeah,
he's,
and
he's got a cowboy hat.
No, that's his,
and he's sparkles.
that's Pyra's famous clubbing fedora.
Oh, yeah.
This is
okay.
Skimmy, and he's in prison for committing treason. At last week's broadcast, where he said that he would back England
Yeah.
in a war.
And his hair is very tall. I like that touch. That's
And then it's very
super
tall hair.
important,
I
yeah.
couldn't remember if he had tall hair. I just remembered all his chins. Yeah, right. Okay. I say that because his last name was All Chin, and he was like, "Yes, I have all the chins." And then finally we got Benji here. He's got a T-shirt that says "Flyboy," and you're getting fired tomorrow because you refuse to take a stand on the whole fly debate.
Can you fly? Can you actually fire me?
I'm fairly certain I can. I
don't
said it
know if
on
you can.
television. I think it counts.
I think I just still keep coming in. Like you fire me, but I just keep showing up anyway.
We'll find out next week. Unfortunately, this was supposed to be a hand, like the hand of God pointing
does not
down
look
at
like
you.
a hand, it looks like
It
a
definitely looks like a scrotum. And so I'm really sorry that that's dangling above you. Oh
my God.
But that's supposed to be a hand saying you're fired. And it's just not how it turned out at all. And then Merx
Benji's
Zay
into
says,
some
is
wild stuff."
that a wang over Benji? Unfortunately, it is. And I'm very sorry that that's the case. So that's my comic book cover. I like that I feel like there's a lovely story. We've got Bryce and Pyra, all the favorites,
And Dobby.
and
I've
Dobby,
gotta
the
say,
house dog.
The bar set for our viewers is so low.
You
So
can step
that
over
like
this.
you didn't even see. You could crawl over it. It'd be hard to trip over that bar.
It's
you could,
true.
Yeah, you could accidentally
Yeah,
do better.
the only way you go under that bar is if you pick it up yourself. Like,
That's true. That's true. So hopefully you guys can beat this. Please send in your submissions to @OPL on Twitter or reply to the post on Facebook. There are tweets and posts on Facebook and Twitter which you just need to reply to with your image, and you can win yourself a HyperX headset. Very exciting times. Thank you very much for your lovely submissions. I don't know if you're eligible
Is
to
he
win.
doing one for?
Yeah, you're going to do one this game
Sure.
to reveal next one.
Sure.
There you go. Speaking of this game, we're on to game numero 3.
Three.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
Mammoth versus Bombers. I mean, talk about a banger. This could be the banger of the night.
Who'd you
Also
say?
not this game.
Why do I keep jumping through? It's Direwolves versus Order. I did this last week as well.
Yes, you did.
And again, showing my hand that I just don't care about the Order game. Direwolves versus Order. This could be a banger. Who knows? Who knows what could happen?
I have a feeling it could be quite good, but again, being in week 2, again, all these roster swaps that have happened with
Yeah.
one side here, of course, Order not changing anything, and Order still coming in looking relatively strong. I see it as like a strength test once again, right? Like how good exactly is Direwolf?
I feel like we've just got a piece of information that Order have in fact changed something.
Okay.
This is exciting.
They have one sub. I have a feeling I know where.
Do you reckon it's Jake?
It's Spawn. He's gone.
That would be exciting. He's just lost it. That would be very exciting news. Bryce, any words of wisdom?
Not particularly.
All right, I think that pretty much sums up Bryce.
Charge your phones,
Let's
everyone.
throw over to the McDonald's champs leg with Benji and Spawn. Send in your comics.
Thanks, Nick. Boy.
What is going on? Surely we get roster submissions from somewhere. Surely people know who's playing. Apparently we don't. Apparently we don't know what teams
So,
are playing.
I
Apparently
know.
we don't know what people are
I'm
playing.
in the know. I don't know what these guys are doing. So for anyone that does not figured it out yet, Spooks out,
Out.
Solely in.
Yeah. Sully.
Sully?
That's how we're going to pronounce it.
Okay.
Sully. Yep. So new jungler in for Order. This is the first game that Swiffer has played, I think, in 5 years of competitive League of Legends without his shadow.
So the last time Swiffer didn't play with Spooks was before the Oath server opened.
Okay. There
Like
you go.
the first, I remember back in 2013, the first tournament we played, Swiffer was playing in it. Spooks was his jungler. So before then,
Apparently he played with Rusty. Spooks played with Rusty back then.
All right.
No one knows who Swiffer played with.
That's
because
ancient.
Spooks also played with Liquid Cheese on the Chiefs roster when Swiffer was
Yeah.
like on a cruise around the Barbados or something. And then they came back and they subsequently won that split upon the return. But this is an exciting matchup because Direwolves have changed a lot of their members. They're going to be starting once again with the roster that played last week, I believe. And great things out of Raze, great things out of Totoro, I think, so far once they get out of laning phase. But maybe some struggles on the bottom half of that map, Benji.
Absolutely. And if you look at the bottom side of the map, Dream has been playing very well. And so if you've got struggles down there, this is the week to focus on it, right? You see upcoming. I'm not sure Direwolves have tomorrow. I haven't thought that far ahead. But this is a good chance for Katsuri and Totoro to really sit down and figure out that matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for Direwolves as a whole, just to really batten down the laning phase so far, because this current patch seems so heavily influenced by the amount of good laners that you're able to get, and then transition that into early game objectives like the Dragons, like the Rift Herald. So if the Direwolves are not able to translate that, that just means they're playing every game on the back foot. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be in trouble because of that, but it just means that they have to alter the way they play their game versus what is currently the meta that we're seeing globally around the world.
One thing I'm going to ask this, and I'm not sure if you have an answer for me. Spook's obviously out. He's a long-standing member, and I believe he's still a starter of the team.
Absolutely.
Is that a sign of we don't consider Direwolves like a top-tier team? We want to get solid some practice, or is it like a long-term investment from Order?
I think it's definitely a long-term investment. You know, put the GM hat on for a second and, you know, lose the kind of commentary hat. The big thing about Sully is he's like fresh. He's an 18-year-old. He's taken himself to Korea twice now already. He's been able to climb up to Challenger and Grandmaster over there. And you never really know how good a player is until they play the game. Early on in the seasons, you know, not underestimating any opponents, but we're just trying to look for strategically the best matchups for Sully. I think that Raze is a big farming jungler. Sully's a little bit more of that aggressive tempo jungler. So I just think that stylistically it matches really well, and we need to test him out at the early parts to know whether we can use him later on in the seasons and playoffs, things like that.
Definitely, if you've played competitive before, you know your first tournaments, your first lands, it's a different experience. It's jitters, and you play differently under those scenarios. I think an example last week, a lot of people expected Mammoth to do really well, but on stage they couldn't pull the wins out and finished in 5th. So like you can look good on paper, but this is a chance to step up and prove yourself. Let's rush through this because we've missed a lot of picks and bans spawn. We've got Nico, Sona, and Sejuani knocked off by Direwolves. Order have done Aatrox, Silas, and Aurelia. And then looking at Direwolves picks, we've got Ryze, Lucian, Lux. Lux probably in the support, I would assume.
Yep, I would assume so.
And then Order have got the Jace, the Yuumi, and the Draven.
Yeah, really interesting comp so far from both teams. I really like the priority on the Lucian as soon as Yuumi was locked in because it is such a potent lane at the moment, Lucian Yuumi. And Lux is one of the few supports I feel like can bully around the little cat. Draven as an answer is something that we haven't really seen domestically, but pops up its head in places like the LPL where we see members like Jackie love big Draven players. I feel like you're either a Draven player or you're not. And if you are, you can play it into most lanes. And if you're not, then you just don't play it at all.
I look at Dream and I think, yeah, he probably does play with Draven.
Yeah.
Someone like, I don't know, Raze might probably play
He plays a mean Draven.
But then you think about other AD carries in the league. I'm not going to name names, but I think that you probably like, they're probably more like a...
Yeah, Raid's an Ezreal player.
Yeah,
you have people like that I certainly think don't fall into that bucket.
Yeah, looking at the bans for the second phase, 3 junglers are off the board. Lee Sin, Skarner, and Elise at the bench as Syndra is taken off for Direwolves. We are looking at junglers from both sides here. And another solo laner, Jace Rise, actually could both be played in both lanes. So we're not quite sure what we've got, although with that Zoe lock-in, most likely for Swiffer.
And this is the most protection you can give to a jungler available. 5th pick on red side. None of these champions can jungle so far, Benji, so they really have given Sully the freest run. Obviously, this is a blind pick, Zoe, because you have to assume that Rise does have the flexibility of being able to go into the top or the mid lane. As we said, we're expecting Lux to be a support, so interesting to see what Raze goes towards. Gragas is something he certainly played a lot. This is a guy that came over from the LMS, played on a team called G-Rex, was able to make a Worlds run there. So I think that, this is certainly something that he's very familiar with.
Absolutely, but it is a champion we haven't seen much of in the OPL so far this year. So I think today we've had 3 different comps, and this one is looking like another very different comp, which to me is very exciting because I don't want to watch the same game four times in a row.
Yep. I think a very free meta at the moment, which
yeah.
I think Riot has been actively trying to go towards for a very long time. Even freeing up things like, not traditional marksmen necessarily only in the bottom lane. They can be played in other lanes with the changes to people like Corki, Nico up in the top lane as well a little bit with that on-hit build. Mages being seen down and then, fighters now being seen in the mid lane. I feel like this is the most open League of Legends has been since the meta didn't exist in pre-season 1.
Absolutely. Looking at this pick, we've got Sion locked in here, personally for the mid or top lane, actually. You can actually kind of react there. And the last pick is Karthus for Soli. Jungle we haven't seen. One thing I do want to ask the viewers out there, we've had 30 picks today. How many unique champions have we seen so far?
A lot.
I want to know what the exact number is. If anyone can tweet that in at OPL, I'd love to get that through. But do you have a guess of that?
Yeah, I'm going to say we've seen probably, over 15-ish. There's been a lot. In this game alone, we haven't seen Zoe, Draven, or the Karthus today at all.
Or Yumi.
Yeah,
or
Yumi.
Jace. That's a completely unique
team. I know we haven't seen Sion. I think Ryze has been banned a couple of times. Depends how you choose picks, because if they've been banned, then there's obviously some overlaps. Gragas hasn't been seen at all. Yeah, there's Lucian. This might be a 10 unique game.
Absolutely. We'll see how the 4th game goes today as well. Maybe we can get close to 40, and we'll see how that goes as we hit the loading screen. Looks like it is going to be the Jace in the top lane against the Sion, and the mid matchup is the Zoe into the Ryze. So that's an interesting matchup. In the jungle, we have got Karthus into Gragas. In the bot lane is Lucian and Lux versus Draven and Yumi.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is a really Direwolves-esque comp. They've got a great ganking jungler here. Top lane has really good setup CC, and the thing that I think is an improvement on last week is now they have a bottom lane that is really good laning and has a lot of agency in the early to mid game. Eventually will fall off, in my opinion. I think Lucian is one of those carries that you kind of have to get ahead to stay ahead. Can do sick damage, but is kind of that brawler AD carry. But I think a lot more agency given to Katsuri, given to Totoro. I want to see him play aggressively this landing phase and really start to show us what they can do, because Katsuri was so hyped coming out of kind of the OCS and, amateur leagues around Australia. Another one of those AD carries that a lot of people were looking at.
Absolutely. Come to talk us a little bit about that draft. Maybe the start of this game is Sharp, the coach of the Direwolves. How you doing?
How you going, guys? Haven't been on here in a while.
Yeah, it
Feels
has
like
been
it's been
a
a
long
long time.
It is, absolutely. So talk us through this draft a little bit. What was your thoughts walking out of the room?
Well, Ray's pretty comfortable on the Gragas. It's interesting because Sully's playing. I would say that I was actually surprised that they would put Sully in. I mean, I don't really know too much about him, but I would think that we're a pretty strong laning team, and I think Order traditionally have been more of the mid-game macro. I think their macro is very strong, and especially with Spook Swiffer and mid-game post 25 minutes as well. So I'm surprised that they wanted to kind of match up like this. And I think draft across the board, both teams have gone for pretty strong laning phase drafts. You look at Jace, you look at the Zoe, pretty good laner, and Draven, one of the strongest laning AD carries. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out ahead.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think this is, off-brand for Order, if you want to call it that. For sure. Talk to me about kind of Raze and Totoro. You bring over the 2 big Korean imports. They've both played in pretty big regions. How are they integrating in the team? What do they bring? What do you like about these guys?
Well, so the thing straight up, strength of skirmishing is just on another level, I would say. It's hard to describe what makes their skirmishing better, but they just seem to see things that I don't. and the other players that I've played with, like kill threat, when I don't see kill threat, skirmishing, awareness, stopwatches, flashes, etc. They just won't screw up that type of thing. I would say though, since it's my first time working with Koreans, communication and language barrier has obviously been one of the most obvious issues. And actually being able to articulate what I mean and create a kind of like our team philosophy, which has been a bit of a struggle at the start. So I think this team will be a bit of a slow burn. I think our skill cap is really high, and I know that's like a lot of teams say that, but I genuinely think we have the mechanical talent there, and now it's just about getting aligned on the game.
And now talk to me about the game at the moment, because I love talking to you about the game. And I know we had a big chat at the start of last split about how open the meta was, and it seems like it's kind of gone to that next level now, where you really can play whatever you want. Like, what is your current read on it, and how are you guys looking to break it down and kind of attack it?
I would say that at the moment it's a very high threat meta. So what I mean by that is that it's very difficult, in my opinion, to play immobile mages and things of that sort. That's why I guess you kind of saw at MSI like the rise of Pyke, and that's why you've traditionally seen a lot of the AD carriers like Ezreal, Xayah, Lucian, Kai'Sa, self-peel. So across the board, according to my theory, your team composition kind of goes against that. And I'm not saying that's just my theory. I would say sometimes in the past it's been hard to play that style. But if you're skilled enough at playing out your lanes and you can play appropriately around vision, and you can push your lead to a victory, that works. But that's how I kind of think the meta's kind of shifted.
Cool. Thanks for joining us, Sharp, and best of luck in the game.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I really like talking to Sharp about the game, because he's one of the few people that I have a very extreme view on the game, and I feel like Sharp is really good at kind of challenging people.
Super over the wall here, caught out a little bit. Sorry to interrupt.
However, maybe now that's the Raze.
Oh, wow. Tons of damage coming down. Ignite going on Raze. He's going to go low. Get back low. Flashes out as well. Wow, that damage came out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Karthus. So let's talk about the picks for a little bit.
Yes.
Karthus is one of the quickest junglers in the game. You can already see. Hold that thought.
Actually, Draven going in here. Katsuri turning it around. Looks like they see something. He's going forward. Does a lot of damage to Lucian. Jake taking some poke back.
Yeah, really good trade there from the Direwolves. I like the stand and deliver there from Lucian. Obviously, it's going to be Guardian coming across out of this Lux, so a lot more trading power there if you go on the Lucian. That shield is like 200 at early ranks with that Guardian, and I think, very good job there of trading the Summoner spell. Was going to talk about Karthus a little bit. Yeah. You can see 3 camps up already. Just flies around Summoner's Rift, and that's what we're kind of seeing right now. So able to get to the counter gank whilst being that far ahead in tempo really is something that, Sully is going to look to push. He likes to get, greedy shots, and you can see staying on the map for such a long time, wants that early jungle item, wants to be able to continually put his camps on cooldown and play that carry style that we see a lot out of Solitude. Now Dream might be in trouble though.
Absolutely. Here comes Raze coming in. Flash already by Dream. They're going to force it back. TP coming down. It is the Jace. Looking to turn it around.
A big flash.
He's in cannon form. He can't really close the distance there because he just transformed. And there's the TP there forced for Direwolves, but they do save the bot lane here for Order.
Yeah, certainly do. And I mean, that's just a misplay out of Dream, to be honest. Tally kind of bailed him out of a lot of hot water there. Means that Tally now isn't going to be able to catch that wave at top lane turret. I wonder whether they do send Sully up there to kind of collect some more of that farm. But I guess the good news is that no one died, but bad news, you just burnt 3 summoner spells to unfreeze a wave. That's kind of a very rough position to be in.
And now I've got to watch this TP on this Rise now, because that is potentially a play Biomancer can make in the next few minutes where Tally can't really stop.
But we talked about farm-heavy junglers, Benji.
47.
And he's currently the highest CS on the map, and he's the highest level on the map.
He's above these solo laners by a significant amount. That's
Yes.
a wave as well. So, yeah, he's pumping. He's gone back to base now, though, so they should catch up a little bit. Now, what's his first buy? That's a jungle item in the book.
Yeah, versus just the makings of a jungle item. And obviously, as the Gragas, you want to be able to unlock the Predator early on, so understand the boots rush, but certainly differing style coming out of Raze and Sully here so far. Really nice rotation spotted on the minimap here. You see how much Order want to be able to control bottom side mid. Sharp was talking about how hard it is to play these mages that don't have the mobility. If you are going to play them, you must be able to keep this vision control to give the Zoe, who's currently flashless, an area of the map to play towards. Otherwise, she just gets ultied onto by the Scion, blown up by the Gragas.
Absolutely. See the Direwolves here moving in to get some of that vision back. But like you mentioned, Jake was up around River. They've got this nice ward here next to the red buff. I do like that one. It gives you a lot of vision of incoming junglers and movements. But look around the map, though. It's still lane-wise. Everything seems like Actually, looks like Order have got a CS lead in the mid lane there a little bit. Expect that with the melee on Sion, though.
Yeah, absolutely, especially given the fact that they were willing to burn the summoner spells early on that gank and then look to kind of pressure the teleport out from Get Back, and I saw a couple of frozen waves there, so some, very aggressive but selfish play coming out of Swiffer there, how he wanted to play that laning phase.
Absolutely. Now, the thing to keep in mind here is the junglers are the ones making the big plays. These players are all very good. Getting solo kills is not something you see here too often. So watching right now, they're both sort of heading down towards that bot side. So Karthus looking to make a gank. He cleared the pink ward out of this brush now, so now it's clear for him to walk in. Now, obviously, Order pushed up a little bit. This might be a counter gank here. And you can see here, he's sort of reacting. He's got vision of this raise. It's a very tense situation as junglers rotate around. Looks like they're going to both back out.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a really good read out of Raze again. Karthus is one of the best dragon soloers in the game, especially once, jungle items are close to being picked up. This is a gank into the mid lane onto Swiffer.
Swiffer's 3 people here. CC going down. He's taking a double damage. Sion knocks him up. A lot of damage. There's the cast. There's first blood for Raze.
And that's what we said. If you don't have control of that area, which Order just forfeited by showing the jungler in the bottom lane, then it is open season down there. You see very good dodge out on a bind. Otherwise, that would have nearly been another kill, Benji.
Yeah.
And it looks like Direwolves have really tightened up this early game as we wanted them to.
Absolutely. This looks like a team that is going toe for toe, maybe even getting some small advantages out against Order. Top lane here, Tally's getting some good damage on that turret. Gets the first one. Bot lane, they go in. They catch the bind. Dream is caught out. He's taking a lot of damage. Karthus ult coming down. They get a kill bot. Yumi's going to back out. Katsuri looking for the double. He's got 1 hit left. Can he catch him? He's got no mana.
Raze is here.
Raze is here. This is going to be it. Just cast him in the face. That's another kill. That's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, really nicely traded there. Obviously, Order looked for the trade because they have the Karthus ult and 2 aggressive summoner spells on the Yumi. But credit to Katsuri. This time around, today, he's able to stand and deliver in back-to-back fights as the Lucian. Really impressive out of the young man, because we said had a kind of rough first week, but I think a lot of that was stage nerves and is looking the goods right now.
Absolutely. Luckily, Soli got that kill on that ult. Otherwise, that would have been even worse for Order. And they get that back. They're going to take away his blue buff. Soli is doing things, but right now, it is the Direwolves that making the big plays from the mid lane and the bot lane.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you can see right now, maybe taking a look at kind of top lane as well. He is
Did you dodge that vision?
Yeah, dodge that vision. Still is equal farm with solo laners. So he's really putting the jungle on like heavy cooldown. Remember, every jungle camp is worth 4 creep score on the scoreboard. So if you do the math, he's 26 CS, nearly going to be 30 CS up. That's a lot of camps at this stage of the game. We're talking 7, 8 camps ahead.
Oh, Lux caught out, low damage. Blind goes down as well.
Very nice bind.
That stops the jump forward, which is lucky for him. He'll get a lot more damage if that hits.
That's what I was going to say, and this is where you have to kind of credit Totoro. Not going to burn the flash, understands the damage threat, only comes out if Swiffer's able to line up that paddle star. Very good job of the bind to be able to hold him in place, because Zoe is very telegraphed in the ability to jump forward and back. I actually like Lux as a counter pick to Zoe for that exact reason.
Exactly. Lux is as support, it's good. It doesn't have a lot of the supporting abilities, but if you're going to bind on someone in a laning phase or when you're sort of poking back and forward, the follow-up damage there is very good if you've got a good coordinated team.
Certainly is. We see, once again, some heavy trading down in this bottom lane. Expect junglers to clash down here again, Benji. You already mentioned that the solo lane is kind of just bouncing farm towards each other at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
However, you see Dream down in 10 CS and Raze and Get Back trying to invade this jungle again.
They are. There was a ward in the red jungle down the bottom there that spotted this rotation through. So Order should have an idea of this happening. We'll see how they react. Karthus has moved to the lane to try and defend perhaps a dive, as there are 4 people here in this bot lane.
And I really like that play, right? Because if you get dove and, Sully just goes for a back there, then your bottom lane's toast. Like, there's nowhere they're able to live through that, even with all the damage that's going to come out of Karthus. Instead, they play it patiently. They wait for mid lane to crash. Sion's not going to let those creeps just go to waste. Eventually, it's going to be back to the 3v3. Then you can move through, like Order is doing right now, and regain some of that control.
Absolutely. Sion ult coming down. He hit a wall. No, that's unfortunate.
Teleport's still
TP
here, though.
coming through, but there's only one person there. Takes the damage going through, but Raze has followed up. Swiffer, there's 3 people trying to chase him down. He's low. Soli's there as well. He's getting taken out. Karthus can't find a break as Raze slams him in the face for the kill. Swiffer trying to escape, but he gets taken out. Takes Yumi overboard, almost takes him to his death. Dream now. There are 4 people in the bot lane. They do take one of them out. This is a 3v4. They are going to back out, though. Is this going to continue? No.
Once again, a 2-for-1 trade, however, in favor of the Direwolves, and that is pretty much every summoner spell used. Good damage coming out of Tally there. And you can see that Jake and Dream thinking about continuing this fight.
They are. In fact, it's 3v3, and they've got a good health advantage. Totoro does get caught. Big bind,
Great
though.
bind.
Wow, that's a lot of damage.
And you got to remember that this Draven hasn't been able to cash in and it's already been shut down once. So the fact that Dream, who is running a Klepto Draven right now, has been kept under control in this early game just means it's becoming more and more difficult to get him in that lead. And we said that Lucian, if he gets ahead, is such a dangerous mid-game team fighter.
Absolutely. The lead is not big right now, though. There are fights and skirmishes going on, but it's not decided by gold yet. It's decided by who catches and gets the engage first. And Swiffer has been sort of a target point here so far in this game for Direwolves. That's twice now we've seen 3 members collapse in on him, and twice that he's died. That time they kind of got a kill back. It could have been a lot worse, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that so far what we've seen from Order is really greedy farm-style early game. It was interesting to hear Sharp kind of say that they feel like that's their game plan, because Order obviously kind of think that it isn't. Now, however, 5 members up on this Rift Herald. This is going to be a fight 100%.
Absolutely. It is going to move back here. Is it resetting? It's slow health. Smite goes through. I don't know who got that. Doesn't show up, but the turnaround fight's here. Ray's pushing forward solely by a big cast. That is a lot of damage. Direwolf's going to pull back to the mid lane here. This is all position
Bubble.
right now. Bubble doesn't quite hit by Panther. Runs around the skirt of that one and does get away. I believe that's Orders. Otherwise, Direwolves would have picked it up. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And otherwise, Order just would not be sticking around and trying to continually fight this one. Ult's nearly back up and available here.
Oh, wow, that's a big culling coming out. Lots of damage hitting Jake. Some of it hitting Dream as well. Luckily, Jake can jump onto someone, keep himself alive that way. Zoe, another bubble comes out and misses. This is timing out very shortly. Order need to make a play or back off this one. Cast comes out. Big ult from Lux comes down. Lots of damage hitting. The back Scion's through. Catching on to Sully. He's going low. Lucy on the backside is taken out, but Dream Force back as well. Looks like that is a 1-for-1 trade so far, but they didn't get the Rift Herald.
Yeah, exactly right. And so a big win now for the Direwolves, because once again, that is a 1-for-1 trade kill, but it is not going to be the Draven that is able to pick up any of the gold. It was Swiffer that got the kill this time. No shutdown available. And I think, you know, just sticking around for a little bit too long. Obviously, really wanted that Rift Herald, but Direwolves with ults coming back available were just so willing to fight there.
Absolutely. The Lux ult's a very short cooldown one. Like, you can use it in those back and forths a few times. So, obviously, the AP on it's quite low. It's a support Lux, but that's the kind of thing that can turn a fight in those very close scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any damage out of a support is just bonus at this stage of the game, right? And you're also looking towards the repetitive shielding, like good poke damage coming out of, once again, another Order kind of poke comp here. And you can see now Order kind of have given up on the neutral objectives. The Air Drake is in the bottom lane. You can see right now that is going to be Dream up towards that top side of the map.
Yep. Direwolves sort of setting up vision there. It's just an Air Drake, which is not usually one of the better ones, but it's free stats. So if you've got nothing better to do, you take it out. But it's not like an Inferno where you're prioritizing it.
Yeah, and hey, I mean, movement speed on something like a Predator Gragas, like on Arise, is certainly always going to be good things. You would argue that maybe Scion has enough of it already, but obviously going to help him out, especially since they changed it to be in-combat movement speed as well.
Yep.
And you can see with Raze here, joining the push, whereas Sully was doing jungle camps, it's going to be Direwolves that break first turret as well. Now a 1,500 gold lead for the Wolfpack.
That is a very late first turret for today. We've had a lot of very quick ones so far, especially after that last game, but it is taken by Direwolves. They're looking to answer top. TP coming through. Biopanther's also around as well.
Both solo laners are up there.
Get back is here. Looks like there's a fight in the jungle just below us as well. In fact, Dream is rotating down as well. There's the ult coming out. Looks like there it is. Rise taken out. Biopanther down. Order looking to turn this around. Maybe try and take this top turret after that. Cloud Drake is taken on the other side of the map by Raze.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to be able to get top turret, Benji, because you can see Dream has no mana for himself, and already Katsuri is pushing mid lane. Much more important to protect your mid lane outer turret, as Swiffer is now doing. Exhaust goes down, however.
He's looking for it. This is the bubble. Has to back away.
Yeah, really nicely done there from Katsuri, not panicking. That was only going to be the Spell Thieves, and you can see already one picked up from Swiffer, but the all-in potential was certainly there with no Merc Treads coming out or any form of magic resistance in one-hit territory right now from the Zoe. So very good read from the young AD carry.
Just an exhaust he picked up from one of the minions, so Zoe obviously gives me a lot of heart attacks with the amount of summon that she blows. It's like, oh wow, that's a very aggressive flash. And then
Although
you're like,
in scrims and in stage performance, it's really easy to count summoner spells, because obviously in League of Legends, one of the big things is who flashed in that fight. And Zoe makes it so easy. Well, you're like, there's 4 flashes on the ground. How many did we use? Who did we see flash? All right,
did I run over any of them accidentally?
Yeah. Well, I used 2 during that team fight. That equals 6. You know, 4 of them must have flashed. Only 1 person has flash.
There you go. That's clever. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
There you go. Zoe mains, take that into your next game. Obviously, without flash, it's a lot easier to get picks and ganks, so use that information wisely. This mid lane here getting a lot of pressure. Order putting it on with this minion wave. Direwolves are reacting though. And that Lux ult makes that wave disappear very quickly. Oh, flash comes out. He goes the ice cast ult. Sully has to flash away. He's on low health. They're trying to block the damage. They do get him out alive, but that was very fast and very quick.
In comes the Scion though.
This is not over. He comes flying in. He misses everyone. Knocks up, gets cancelled, and he's going to be wandering back to his turret, unfortunately.
A little bit sheepishly there. However, that is going to be, once again, a flash burnt on Swiffer, on Sully, only for the flash of Raze. So very nice trade again from the Direwolves. Get back, having a bit of a dance here.
Swiffer there, taking a bit of poke damage. Totoro looking for the... Ooh, wow, that was very close, that bind. There's a lot of damage coming through. This is actually very interesting because I was looking at that setup there and I did not see a potential engage, but Raze saw something there. He's like, I can pick Sully out of this and we can blow him up. And they almost got it, and it was almost a fantastic play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what Sharp is talking about when he's saying, you know, this guy's threat assessment, this guy's ability to pick a fight is just really, really high. And you can see already that they've managed to send 3 members back up into top lane, and it's just a solo Scion able to hold that turret so far in the mid lane. So Order, once again, trading down in these scenarios.
Yep, Sully and Swiffer trying to defend this turret, and they will clear this wave. Will they be able to hold this more?
It's like pinging in like a madman for this mid lane. Raze is in behind.
Yep, trying to slow Dream down. Here comes Totoro looking for the bind. Not going to hit anything there, so a bit of a tense moment there mid, but nothing eventuates as the Lucian does take the top lane turret. That is 2 turrets for Direwolves right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You see now, Jake in some trouble as well. Gonna have his back stopped, and Dream really struggling to get going on this Raven. So much of Order's run in the gauntlet was the emergence of this bottom lane as a force. And it looks like right now they've been kind of shut down in back-to-back games.
Yeah, I mean, his CS is fine, but without Draven getting the shutdowns, he doesn't really take off in this game. So if he can get... He's only died once, so he's going to have a big stack sitting there. If he gets a kill, he's going to be able to buy some big items.
Yeah, absolutely. Trust me, he's screaming right now to just get him a pick off a Zoe Bubble. And you kind of see how this Order comp wants to come together. You got Zoe Bubble, Jace Shock Blast, and one of the things about Draven's kit often overlooked is how much damage that Whirling Death brings from a long range. So one bubble hit, Order's going to be able to blow up one of the squishy members, you know, like the Rise, or even the Gragas in this composition. He no longer has stopwatch available. Pretty much anyone but Scion, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that person falls down and they're able to set up their poke, you know, go back to that frustrating game plan that we saw work so well last week against the Bombers. Absolutely.
We see Order here pushing this mid out. The last outer turret standing, but it is the most important outer turret. So they still have a nice place to fight from here. As a bit of poke comes out here. Those Yuumi Qs, I believe it is, have been doing a nice bit of poke against Katsuri this game.
Yep, those zoomies, very useful.
A little bit of the Lux ult there to take the turret out. Cannon's going to allow him to get a lot of damage down. There's Lux taking the Zoe Q. A lot of damage coming down, low health, but unfortunately Karthus in the front line does die. Totoro is going to be in a lot of trouble on his backside as well. He dies to Karthus. Look like I was setting that one up for Draven there. He doesn't quite get it. And also Katsuri on like 10 health leaves the fight.
And look how much damage his Karthus ult is starting to do. You can see that Sully is just very willing to throw himself into the front of these team fights. Another Sleepy Trouble bubble lands. They will let him live, however.
Yep, Shock Blast does go wide, unfortunately. He's running in the middle there, Sam. Just get knocked away from the Jace.
Here we go.
Big fight coming down. Jace is caught. He's dead. Dream on the front line. He is trying to get a kill, but he's not going to get one. Rise shuts him down. All that building up of CS is thrown to the wind as Direwolves pick up 3.
Yeah, they certainly do, and now they just race towards the Baron buff. They have Get Back. He's already regenerating that health. They can tank this forever, and with 5 members now approaching, and it's just going to be the rookie jungler without Smite looking to steal.
Running into a blind rush as well. He's going to have to rush there if he knows what's best for him, but he's going to be careful. He's throwing those Qs ahead of him just to make sure he doesn't get caught out. Trouble Bubble goes down, catches one, Swiffer picks up the Rise. That's one dead. Here's Sully over wall. Can he get in there and get the smite? His flash is not up. He's going to walk around. Anyway, Jungler coming around. Swiffer gets another hit. They're going to knock him up. Smite goes down. Direwolves get the Baron. Here comes the follow-up fight. Flashes out of the pit. Can they scatter? Can they escape? Back's going down. Tally's looking for one with Yuumi. They catch Get Back. Can they pick him off? Yes, they will. He's dead to rights.
He's a sitting duck.
Yeah, that's Baron buff taken off 2, I believe it is.
3 members there going to fall down from the Direwolves lineup. It started with the pick onto Biopanther. Will end with 2 more after that. And still a really good play from Direwolf. That still gives them Baron buff on a couple of members, and it still grows their gold lead to 2,000, but not necessarily the cleanest play. And this is just speaking volumes to kind of the current meta. As we take another look at this looks like a setup team fight here, or to overcommit for the turret, and then it's all about trying to get Dream out with his stack still intact. Not able to do that. That was a 4v4, but the tanky member's still there. Too many ultimates used. That leads to the Baron fight. Order do a good job of being able to hit back, but Dai will still come out the victors.
Yeah, we're back to live now as we look at the remnants of this this big fight. So Raze and Totoro are the two with the Baron buff. So they're the ones that are going to be pushing the lanes forward. The unfortunate thing is that someone like Biopanther didn't get it because he could split push quite well with it. You can't really put Raze or Totoro in that side lane. So for Order, that's a bit of a silver lining there. After that scenario. Mountain Dragon here, though, started up by Race.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, Order's comp wants to team fight. And you look down the items, and they're pretty much even or behind in every single role. Even the jungle position where, once again, you know, there was a big farm lead created at the start of the game. Razor's done a very good job of bringing himself back within only 10 creeps. I think that was about 30 at one stage.
Big shock blast there onto Totoro. But yeah, the CS differences have closed a lot. The jungle difference, 10. Although Zoe still has a big one over Sion, but you kind of expect that. But Sion's doing fine. He's a big tanky guy, and he's engaged in these fights. Not a big issue there if he's missing a bit of the CS, 20, 30 he's missing there.
Yeah, absolutely. Another Sleepy Trouble bubble will land, however, on by Swiffer.
He does hit it. Wow, Raze very low. Carthasol coming down. Raze, Zonya's avoids the killing blow there, but it will force that team back. Direwolves having to retreat.
Yeah, it certainly does, and you can see that from full health, that Carthas ultimate is still just even a good poke tool at this stage of the game. They do use a couple of ultimates there, but they get the stopwatch. Once again, Zonya's Hourglass, sorry, very well pointed out of the jungler. So now you know it kind of has to not be on Raze, because Ingenious Hunter, really good rune by the way, you should be running it when you play things like Predator Gragas, gives you cooldown on your usable items. So on things like Proto Belt, on your Predator, and of course on your Zonya's Hourglass in this scenario. That means that it's going to be off cooldown very, very quickly, as we can see. That's a Sion barreling down mid lane, Benji.
He's coming in, they're forcing him off a turret. I don't know if he wants to engage here. He's run very deep, actually. Draven's going to get a bit of poke back, but they do clear that tier 1 tower out. I think that was the intent of that. Force Order back, take the turret, and then...
Trouble bubble again.
It is Sion, though. Can they pick him off here? Do they have the damage? No, they got to back out.
Yeah, don't want to overcommit onto the Sion, as you mentioned, but it did proc out on that Sterix gauge, so a lot of damage done there from the Order lineup. You can see, whilst it is Sion, it's not the tankiest Sion in the world just yet. Still needs a couple of more items to scale up. Sion more of that 30 to 35 minute powerhouse. But we are used to seeing the Direwolves run these super tanks, and so far, this is a really good game out of the Direwolves.
It is, and Order is still in this as well. As Sion gets caught out, get back on the side here. He's getting caught by the team. Wow, diving in, Raze misses the ult onto Super, but he is blown up by the Lux and Lucian on the backside here. Direwolves looking to engage. They aren't going to take the Rise port. Sully looks very scared. He thought he'd be caught out, does move forward, and he's going to die on the backside here. He tries to flash, but he's dead. His ult is actually not up, it reset. So he won't be able to cast that now. So Direwolves get 2.
Yeah, exactly right. And you can see Sully there, hesitation. Looked like he actually wanted to go in and try and get max damage there, but the rest of the Order members called, we do not want to fight. So you can see, once again, couple of picks going in the favor of the Wolfpack. And this Zoe pick seems really effective when Order have the setup. But as soon as the game kind of gets a little bit scrappy, which is what I feel like the Direwolves are playing towards very well at the moment, it's really hard to play Zoe. And I think that Raze has done a fantastic job of every time Swiffer tries to jump forward, he's just there with the full AP on this Gragas, one-hitting the mid laner of Order.
Yeah, that is a huge amount. That I'm used to seeing Gragas back in like Season 2, Season 3 do that kind of damage spawn, and now seeing it still alive now brings me back to my old glory days of playing Gragas. Might try this one out.
Yeah, Minky Whale's a big fan of those days as well. If you haven't seen the greatest Gragas player of all time. I
post it on Twitter every month for everyone curious. One thing I will point out, though, is keep an eye on that Carthasol. Right? When that's up, look for the poke from Order, because if they get anyone remotely close to dead, that's a kill period. But as soon as it's off cooldown, the threat dramatically drops, because it's kind of hard to really pick someone off at that range. You're looking for the Zoe, you're looking for the Jace Qs, and there's a lot of poke that can come through. Sully can finish them off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, right now it's all about just making sure that the Karthus and the Draven don't get rolling. You know, they've been able to keep the Draven down all game. They're now starting to do a better job of making sure Sully either is dying and only having minimal impact in these fights. They're not fighting where he's dying either because of the displacement. So I think across the board right now, this is a strange comp that Order's pulled together. You know, as Sharp said, they weren't even expecting Sully to play today, let alone a Karthus game to come out. So I think like this is being navigated incredibly well by the Direwolves.
Absolutely. It also goes to show a bit of the power of having some subs on your roster, right? If you've got 5 players, and you only use those 5 players, kind of telegraphing what you're playing, it gives your opponent a bit of information. Whereas if you have a few options, you don't get revealed who's playing until the day of, so you know, you can prepare with a little bit extra information here. You see some poke back and forth.
But you can just see the great job right now that BioPanther is, not BioPanther, Get Back is doing of absorbing all of that poke and just walking into the jungle and being a hot body.
Wow, that's a lot of poke going out here, actually. It's like was backing out. Tower was taken on the bot side from the Jace down there, who's still down there. He's got his TP, so he can join these fights. But you can see the Karthus wall being a big part of zoning here. If Raze doesn't get to sort of jump in and sort of get really in amongst it very quickly, you can see it's very hard for Direwolves just to step forwards.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And I think the big part of why we've seen a lull here is because Order don't have any real proactive tools because this Scion is grouping. And, oh, that's a big Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Do they even go for it? They might.
They're going for the play. Katsuri slow. Shield goes out. Well, that did not do nearly as much damage as I expected there.
Yeah, and still has himself that MR coming through from the boots. And it was only ultimates that hit after the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. However, it will give Order enough time to kind of step in and look for a little bit of vision control here.
Yep. Karthus cooldown is on cooldown now, though. And last time it was on cooldown. We saw that the last fight. So this might be the time where Direwolves go, okay, that big button's gone. How can we turn this into an advantage? How can we get map position? How can we force an engagement somewhere as Lucian rejoins a fight in full health? TP going out.
Baron.
They're going to Baron too. Missed it, unfortunately. Totoro get caught out by Zoe. Oh, that was a bit of a mistake, actually. Half of them went to Baron and half didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the call from Raze was, I need to save my support here. We can't do Baron in a 4v5, and obviously you can't take that Rise portal when you're going to be CC'd up. So going to step back out of that one. They will get themselves another dragon. I think that the game turns again, slightly in Order's favor, once Sully gets himself that level 16 Karthus ultimate. Although what I will say is Rise is becoming a massive problem right now for Order. I don't know whether Jace can contest him in the side lane. As soon as BioPanther has that teleport back up and available, I feel like this split push threat just goes to the next level. Especially given the fact that it looks like Tally kind of itemizing a little bit more towards, you know, that lane versus Get Back as opposed to necessarily the Rise. He also just reset the blue buff on Swiffer and said, I'm out.
Yeah, that was... yeah.
That's rude.
We're watching this one now. Jace vs Rise early on, lots of poke, it's great, but later on when you get CC'd, Jace's burst damage comes from being able to go hammer form, dive in, hit 3 times and knock him back. Against Rise, he just puts a big rune prison around you and then kites you. And it takes a good 6-7 seconds to get back into your cannon form to really continue the DPS, and in that time Rise kills you. So you're right, it is a rough matchup. But it's not a hard counter. I think if Tally plays it right, he can come out with something there, but I don't know if you want to be betting the game on that at this point if you're Order.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you go back to how do they generate the picks? How do they catch Katsuri out, who now has gone back and grabbed himself an outright more of Malmortius to just be able to keep himself alive. We've already talked about Totoro's shields. He's got himself a Mikhail's as well to try and help the Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
Ooh, good dodge.
Order really need to be able to get a little bit more rolling, I feel, because otherwise this game becomes very difficult to play against the super tank of Scion.
Absolutely. This vision control from Direwolves. Moving into this top side jungle. Their vision on the bot side of the map is almost non-existent. There's one turret, one ward down there. And the Scuttle Crab. But up here, they're placing everything. Order cannot move into this top jungle without Direwolves knowing exactly where they are. Here comes the second play. Back onto Baron. They're going to rush this one down. They have got one mountain
quickly as they can.
Soli is spotted. He's checking forward. He doesn't see it. Half health to go. Oh, he CCs him. Now they know what's going on. Soli has his ulted away. Can they nuke it fast enough? There's the Baron going down. Can Direwolves get away? They've got the Baron. Looking to push forward here. Soli's still not in the fight. He's looking on the backside. He's going to jump over the wall. Direwolves trying to force a fight on the bot side here. Tally forced away. Dream's in an awkward position. Tally's going to go down. He's dead. Now can they get clean up here? Soli coming in. They're going to pick up 2.
The Draven.
Oh my goodness, the Draven is doing a lot, but in the end, it looks like the Scion takes out 2 in his death form. Raze is going to get away. The minion kills Swiffer. What the heck just happened? Everyone's dead except for Raze.
Yeah, just the jungler of the Direwolves will live to tell the tale. Raze goes into melee form. Dream goes into melee form during that team fight, but it's Raze, this full AP Gragas right now that is level 16, 6-0-5, that has the last laugh. He's able to secure the Baron for his team and able to live through it all. We have a look at this. Sully, once again mentioned, knocked away from the pit. Big ultimate means that they clean up Katsuri before this fight even started, but notice that the Karthus can't really get in. And now Dream kind of makes a little bit of a strange call here for my take. Starts running into melee form, trying to catch axes, wants maximum DPS, but I think that should have been enough to kind of win the fight without the axes caught up there. Obviously, Super Creeps MVP there. One slow from a Gragas barrel, and they do a lot of Swift as well.
One thing I will point out, though, is in that fight, Direwolves blew a lot to deny Baron. The cast from Gragas was not used in the fight. It was used to zone solely off earlier. And I wonder in a straight-up fight, with those tools and that focus from Direwolves, how that looks. Obviously, that's a very complicated question, but it is a close fight, and it shows this game can go any way.
Absolutely.
Missing damage there, or just out of range. Where do you go from here if you've got one Baron buff and you put in a mid lane? What do you do if you're Direwolves?
Yeah, I mean, you do this, right? They're trying to spread the map thin because a Baron buff is going to be enough to secure them turrets. You know that you can't really 1v1 either of these side laners anymore. You can see Biopanther is 2 levels above Swiffer. Get Back is a level above Tally. So you kind of just keep the full court press going. You make sure that you're starving them of resources, taking away the jungle. And, you know, once again, this was kind of a 30 CS lead for the Karthus early on. And Raze is now 20 CS up in his own right and has been able to be a part of 11 of 17 kills, 6 of them going to the Gragas. First Gragas appearance of OPL Split 2, and looks the goods right now, Benji.
Raze looks fantastic. This game has been the Raze show, from like the early ganks to like these team fight engages. Katsuri cleansed it off, I believe. There, he did get out of it. It's like there's they're all coming down from Karthus. It's going to hit. It's going to do a little bit of damage. Team is backing away, just poke back and forward. Get Back is low, but he's Scion, so he's okay. All coming out, lots of damage. Oh, Slither blown up! That was a huge cast. That tower's going to go down, and Order scatter back to their Nexus.
Yeah, and that might be the game, because you can see right now with the Baron buff, they're going to look to continue to push through. They have the teleport available for Biopanther. They're bringing the creeps in. They're looking to end.
They are looking to end here. Order go back into the fountain to try and heal a little bit. Direwolves pushing forward. Slow Baron buff and still pretty healthy. First turret here is down. Direwolves going to back off. The minions aren't really lasting. There's just the one left. It looks like it will get cleaned up. Direwolves so close to victory, but making the smart call and retreating.
Yeah, they certainly are. And you can see once again that Order just do not have the damage to cut through this beefy front line of the Scion. And Gragas' damage is really no joke at this stage of the game. Level 16 pretty much blew up Swiffer out of nowhere off the back end of a great Totoro binds. And Order, you know, we were talking, Ejin was talking about this last game. They're now like 3 team fights away from being able to get back into this. Around Elder Dragon, you would say that Direwolves right now with Double Mountain have the advantage. You know, around Baron, the exact same case. So how do they generate the picks? How are they going to look to kind of secure these advantages? Because otherwise, Direwolves, I mean, I feel like their comp, I talk about ease of execution, is one of the easiest comps to execute. You just walk forward with your Scion, you fish for some binds and some damage. If you don't get him, Scion just tanks it all. He's got 5,000 health.
Yeah, generally poke comps as well are generally very difficult to execute on. You slip up, you get punished for it. And right now, Order are one bad team fight from losing this game. But if they win that team fight, they might get a turret. They might get 2 turrets, but they aren't like closing the game out. They've got to win, like you said, multiple team fights in a row now, and they've got to start putting that together.
Yeah, it would have to be like the biggest staggered deaths into decisive team fight for it to end from this position on the map, right?
Yeah.
They have to run through super creeps, through 4 turrets and an inhibitor to be able to take anything down. And you can see just decisiveness once again from the Direwolves. They spend the teleport, but they will be able to knock down. They spent 2 teleports.
They're pushing this bot lane. There's 4 here. 5th member is Scion in the mid lane. They're pushing that in, putting pressure to try and sort of get around the side here, maybe ult across or something. Anyway, Direwolves pushing to the base, chipping off this turret. Last minute there. You can see Get Back on the left there. Keep an eye on him. His engage could be great or terrible. It's going to go one of 2 ways.
That's 1 barrel.
That is 1 barrel. That's a ton of damage. AP Gragas, guys, is back. Take it into solo queue. Or don't. Please don't do that. I would not want that. Anyway, more damage coming out. Super diving forward. Looking to clean his minions off. Keep an eye on Get Back here. This turret is dropping quick. It is not surviving.
Bio in.
Scion straight in. Ult is straight in as well. They're all on top of each other. Karthus is already dead. The rest of the team moving forward here. Oh, there's a huge amount of deaths. Zoe's dead. Ult coming out. Tally Zhonya's in the middle of the team. He's going to die as soon as he pops out of that one. And it's just the bot lane left here from Order. Direwolves 5 strong moving into the base here. They're waiting for some creeps. They're going to take this game unless Dream can pull out a miraculous pentakill with a flash coming down top of him. Last tower falls, and it looks like Direwolves get the last kill on Dream, are going to clean up their second win of the second split of the OPL.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic performance out of the Direwolves. After what was a scrappy back and forward early game, they really made some great decisive plays around using that Realm Morph for the things like the Baron, you know, to continually go back towards objectives. And I feel like they had a very good idea about how they wanted to close out this game, and they were able to execute on it pretty well in the end.
Absolutely. The first run looked like a mistake. And sometimes you don't see teams go back to that. But no, they'd obviously, okay, let's do it again. This is how we want to use like Rise to position around the map. And that Baron got them the big advantage, right? They used that to push down mid, break the base open, and from there, what was a fairly back and forth close game sort of blew open.
And I kind of cannot speak to how impressive that is from the Direwolves, because Order was a team in split number 1 that either got blown out in the early game and therefore lost in very dramatic fashion, or were able to control mid to late games. That's kind of what the whole gauntlet run was about. This was a lineup that fell slightly behind in the early game in the Direwolves and then kind of beat Order at their own game in a lot of ways. You know, ease of execution, barreling down lanes, utilizing neutral objectives. In that game alone, they had 2 Barons and I think 4 Dragons. That's complete control of the neutrals on the map that are so highly prized on this patch without playing necessarily the best laners in the game, doing it more through cohesive teamwork.
Absolutely. This team, compared to Split 1,
Yeah.
we didn't see a team that did very well then. They got 1 win. Already in 3 games, they've got more wins than they have so far this year up until this split. This is a team that, like, you've got to look at with new light this split. We don't know where they sit in the pecking order yet.
I completely agree. And, you know, Sharp back to being in that head coach position, you know, obviously doing some great work. He said that he's enjoying it, you know, the challenge of coaching the Koreans right now. And everything points. He said, you know, don't judge us on our week 1 performance. Judge us on our week 10. And signs are still looking promising leading towards that.
Absolutely. Well, to give us more information about this game, let's send it over to a Niche Boy and the other guys on the couch.
Thank you very much, Ben Chai. I mean, we weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the Direwolves, and particularly this split, don't know what to expect.
Well, that was what I even said before the game, right? Like, this was a strength test for me, and it will be for a couple weeks. It's the first time we see them play against every respective opponent, but Order are no slouches when it comes to League. They may have had a sub in the jungle role, but still very good early pathing from him, just trying to hard farm his way through. And at the end of the day, Direwolves, as Spawn mentioned, beating them effectively at their own style of League is very impressive to see from a young team or a new team coming together in week 2.
And it's also, like, you mentioned a couple of things, right? Like, yes, Order now lost to Legacy, lost to Direwolves. It's a little bit of a rough start to the season, but, like, Sully coming in the sub, that was, like, a pretty dominant early game performance. The draft, I think, certainly went their way. Getting Karthus all the way that deep into what was like a Sion Gragas mid 2v2.
Yeah.
Yes, the start of that looked very good, and then a couple of fights don't go their way. Like hitting on some individual members, like, yes, I touched on Sully, Raze on the other side. This is now week to week. A couple of absolute banger performances, I think. And Dire was just pulling out some interesting stuff.
Because this is the thing with Raze, right? His assessment of the battlefield, knowing how to engage, not even just when, has always been spectacular in the OPL at the moment. Being able to quell any threats of your opponents the second they group up in mid lane with a Zoe trying to get stacks for a Draven. It's just Gragas ult on them. And even if it's not a kill, which in some cases it wasn't, it's a full disengage, it's a full reset. And it means that any advantage in tempo, any map control in vision is full reset. And so they're able to pick and choose the fights they like because they're seemingly just so good at forcing them when they have the tempo.
And I think the other 2 people, in my eyes, to look at for, like, obviously the Dire was like brand new start to the season, like Katsuri and Totoro, a duo that you kind of need to look at, right? And then going up against Dream and Jake in the early laning phase, like being able to just kind of like standard deliver multiple times against a Draven lane, I think looks very good so far. And they did have some struggles in week number 1. And as Jake just said, Sharp said in the interview, like judges on week 10, they are growing to that point, but this looked like marked improvement, at least like very early on in the game.
I feel like Direwolves a team kind of like in a sci-fi horror movie where you know that the AI you built is now learning from you and is developing faster than you're prepared for it to develop. Like that's what we could see from Direwolves over the course of this, but it's like they're learning too much too fast, and by the end of it,
That is much more intricate than Legacy, who is just Groot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like every team in the OPL should have some sort of like sci-fi fantasy analogy, and we'll figure out what they all are. But for now, we're going to go to a short break. We'll be back in a second.
Up. This is a gank into the mid lane on the Swiffer.
There's 3 people here. CC going down. He's taking a double damage. Sion knocks him up. A lot of damage. There's the cast. There's
still
CC
here,
coming through, but there's only one person there. Takes the damage going through, but Raze is followed up. Swiffer, there's 3 people trying to chase him down. He's low. Sully's there as well. He's getting taken out. Carthage can't find a break as Grace slams him in the face for the kill. Swiffer trying to escape, but he gets taken out. Takes Yumi overboard, almost takes him to his death. Dream now. There are 4 people in the bot lane. Let's go wide, unfortunately. Running in the middle there, Sam. Just get knocked away from the Jace.
Here we go.
Big fight coming. Yeah, Jace is caught. He's dead. Dream on the front line. He is trying to get a kill, but he's not going to get one. Rise shuts him down. Oh, Sion gets caught out. Get back on the side here. He's getting caught by him. Wow, diving in. Race misses the ult onto Super, but he is blown up by the Lux and Lucian on the backside here. Direwolf's looking to engage. Now going to take the Rise port. Sully looks very scared. He thought he caught out. Does move forward, and he's going to die on the backside here.
We have a look at this. Sully, once again mentioned, knocked away from the pit. Big ultimate means that they clean up Hatsuri before this fight even started. But notice that the Karthus can't really get in. And now Dream kind of makes a little bit of a strange call here for my take. Starts running into melee form, trying to catch axes, wants maximum DPS. But I think that should have been in.
Sion straight in, Alden straight in as well. They're all told each other. Karthus is already dead. The rest of the team moving forward here.
This is it.
Oh, this is a huge amount of deaths. Zoe's dead, all coming out. Tally Zonya's in the middle of the team. He's going to die as soon as he pops out of that.
At Macca's, our burgers are now hotter, juicier, and tastier, with onions added at the grill for more flavour, perfectly melted cheese, and softer buns. They're the best Macca's burgers ever.
Welcome back. Green ESTP in the chat said, "Wake me up when this is